Hey, so there's an island in Japan where they took a fading industrial town and filled it with world-class art, and somehow it actually works. 3 days here can shift how you think about what a museum even is if you don't burn your best slots on the wrong day. I already mapped out the whole 3-day route in a template, links in the description if you want it. Naoshima sits in the Seto inland sea, which means ferries, island hopping energy, and a pace that slows you down whether you planned on it or not. Day 1 is the big statement. Underground museums, Monet and slippers, and ending at a yellow pumpkin while the sun drops behind the islands. The first thing you see stepping off the ferry at Miyanoura is a giant red polka dot pumpkin you can actually climb inside. Naoshima was a smelter town with a pollution problem before a publishing magnate started turning it into an art destination in the late 80s. Most sculptures want you to stand back. This one wants you to duck through the opening and sit inside the hollow fiberglass. Grab your photo and keep moving because the real art is inland, and this is a 10-minute moment, not the main event. Chichu Art Museum is an entire building buried inside a hillside, designed by Tadao Ando so the hilltop view stays untouched from above. Monet's water lilies hang in a room where you shuffle in slippers across white tile, and a column blocks photos so you actually look. James Turrell's light installations make you question your eyes, and Walter de Maria fills a room with nothing but space and a polished sphere. You need a time reservation booked weeks ahead, because this is the reason you came to the island and weekend slots sell out. A short coastal walk from Chichu brings you to Kusama's yellow pumpkin, sitting on a pier at the water's edge. This is a Naoshima shot polka dot fiberglass against the Seto inland sea, and it looks exactly as good as every blog promised. A typhoon swept this pumpkin into the ocean in 2021, and they spent over a year restoring it before placing it back. Get there about an hour before sunset, because that's when the light catches the pumpkin and the sea at the same time. Day 2 dials it way down. Fishing village streets, art inside old houses, and a small museum explaining why this island looks the way it does. Honmura is an actual fishing village where artists have taken over old houses that still sit between homes where people live and work. Miyanoura is a former temple with a James Turrell piece where you sit in near total darkness until your eyes adjust and the space slowly appears. Walking between houses on narrow stone-walled lanes, you pass laundry drying next to installation art, sea salt mixed with old wood. Start at the Honmura lounge for a multi-site ticket and a time slot for Miyanoura, because that one has controlled entry that fills up. From outside, it's a 100-year-old wooden house in the same village. Inside, it's pure Tadao Ando concrete, because that's what he does. They disassembled the original house, built a concrete interior inside it, then put the wooden shell back. Architecture nested inside architecture. Ando has designed roughly 10 structures here since the early 90s, and this small museum is the key to understanding why the island feels cohesive. It's a quiet 45 minutes, best appreciated as context for everything else you've seen. The man's resume, not his spectacle. Lee Ufan Museum is the quiet one. Rounded stones paired with flat iron plates on polished concrete, and the tension between them is the art. Ufan helped start Monet, the 60s movement that rejected Western-style expression in favor of raw materials and their relationships. The space makes people instinctively spread out and go quiet. Your footsteps become part of the composition, which sounds absurd until you're standing there. Is that it? Crosses your mind? Slow down, because the whole point is how little it gives you and how much you feel. Day 3 hops to a neighboring island for a water droplet shaped museum, then back for Naoshima's newest building before the ferry home. Teshima Art Museum sits on the next island over, a single concrete shell shaped like a water droplet with 2 openings to the sky. The only artwork is water emerging from the floor as droplets, beating, sliding, merging, vanishing. Wind and birdsong drift through the ceiling gaps. Designed by Ryoei Nishizawa, the shell spans a huge open space with no internal supports and walls about 40 millimeters thick. You're juggling 2 logistics chains, the museum booking and the ferry schedule, because missing either one unravels the whole day. Back on Naoshima, the newest museum opened May 2025. Ando's 10th building here and the first one actually named after the island. It sits on a hilltop overlooking Honmura, the latest chapter in a 35-year project that turned a polluted island into a global art destination. Being brand new, it's still finding its rhythm. Afternoons are quieter once the morning curiosity crowd moves on. Check what's showing before you visit, because programming is still evolving and you want to know what you're walking into. The ferry back is something you have to do anyway that turns out to be beautiful. The Seto inland sea has hundreds of islands. These routes follow shipping lanes running for centuries between Honshu and Shikoku, and standing on deck, you get why people have crossed this water so long. Salt air, engine hum, islands going golden, the best view you get all day is from the upper ferry deck. Know your last boat and don't cut it close, because sailings thin out in the evening and drop further in winter. On Naoshima, the art, the architecture, and the landscape all feel like they're having the same conversation. 3 days is enough to start hearing it. I built out the full 3-day route and a template with every stop on an interactive map, links in the description or pinned comment. Let me know which piece on this island you'd actually want to see in person. I read every comment.